AI, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI. You hear these terms everywhere, right? But what do they actually mean? If you've ever felt like you're just drowning in a sea of tech buzzwords, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to untangle this once and for all.
So often, you hear these terms used like they're the same thing. But the truth is, they're actually distinct layers of a much, much bigger idea. And hey, if you've ever felt a little lost trying to keep them all straight, don't worry, you are not alone. By the end of this, I promise you'll have one super simple way to see exactly how they all fit together.
And here it is. This is the secret to understanding everything. Russian nesting dolls. Seriously, it's the perfect way to think about it. You've got the big doll on the outside, and you open it up, there's a slightly smaller one inside, and another one inside that, and so on. This one idea is going to make it all just click. All right, so let's start by opening up that biggest, outermost doll. This is the one that holds everything else inside it. This is the grand universe of artificial intelligence.
You see, AI is the big dream. It's the whole field of study. For decades, the one driving question has been, can we build machines that can think, that can reason, that can behave like humans do? So it's not about one single tool, it's the entire quest.
So the main thing to get is that AI is just the all-encompassing goal. It's the big umbrella. This covers everything from a robot that can find its way around a room to a system that can plan the most efficient delivery route for a fleet of trucks. For our purposes, let's just imagine we want to build a robot that can do all our chores. That right there, that's an AI goal.
Okay, but how do you actually achieve a huge goal like that? Well, that brings us to the next doll, the one just inside the first. This isn't the goal itself, but it's a primary method for getting there: machine learn. Now, the absolute key phrase here is without being explicitly programmed. Think about it. The old way of doing AI was all about hand-coding millions of rules. If you see this, then do that. It was slow, it was rigid, it was a nightmare. Machine learning totally flipped the script. Instead of feeding a machine rules, we just feed it a ton of data and let it figure out the patterns for itself.
So how do we get our chore robot to sort the laundry? With ML, we don't write endless lines of code saying, if fabric is small and comes in pairs, it's a sock. No way. Instead, we just train it. We show it a massive pile of pictures, thousands of them labeled sock and thousands labeled shirt, and the machine just learns. It learns to see the patterns on its own. It's trained, not programmed.
So, let's go a little deeper. Let's look inside our machine learning doll, because within it, there's an even more powerful technique that has absolutely supercharged this whole field. This is our third doll, deep learning.
Think of deep learning as machine learning on steroids. It's a supercharged version that uses these really complex structures called neural networks. And yeah, they're loosely inspired by how the neurons in our own brains are all connected. The key word is deep because these networks have many, many layers, which lets them find much more subtle, much more intricate patterns and data than simpler models ever could. And this right here, this is the magic trick. This is the game changer. With traditional machine learning, a human engineer might have to tell the laundry robot what to look for. Pay attention to shape or size or the presence of buttons. But with deep learning, the system figures out what's important all by itself. The neural network might just decide on its own that fabric texture or the shape of a collar are the real keys to telling things apart. No human needed. This ability to learn from raw data is exactly why deep learning is the powerhouse behind so many of today's breakthroughs. The voice assistant on your phone, the computer vision in a self-driving car, that's deep learning. And for our little chore robot, this means it can now sort laundry with almost scary accuracy, easily telling the difference between a white sock and a balled-up white t-shirt.
And that brings us to our final, smallest, innermost nesting doll. This is the one you've been hearing about nonstop lately. It's a very specific use of deep learning, and it's called generative AI.
So everything we've talked about up to this point has been about analyzing or classifying stuff that already exists. Is this a sock or is it a shirt? Generative AI does something completely different. It doesn't just analyze, it creates. After being trained on mountains of data, text, images, music, it can generate brand new, totally original content that just follows the patterns it learned.
This is the huge leap from just seeing the world to actually adding to it. It's why you can now ask a tool to write an email for you, or create a picture of an astronaut riding a horse, or even compose a new piece of music. So in our example, our robot skill set has just taken a wild creative turn. It's not just a sorter anymore. You can now ask it to stop folding and write you a sad little poem about the tragedy of a single lost sock.
Okay, we've unboxed all of the dolls. So for this last part, let's put them all back together and just look at the complete picture, the whole AI family tree, just so it's absolutely crystal clear.
So here it is, all laid out. We start with the biggest, broadest goal of all, artificial intelligence. A major way we try to achieve that is through machine learning. A really powerful, advanced type of machine learning is deep learning. And finally, a specific, groundbreaking application of deep learning is generative AI. See? Each one just fits so neatly inside the next.
Let's just say that one more time, because if you remember one single thing from all this, make it this sentence. All generative AI is built using deep learning. All deep learning is a specific type of machine learning. And all machine learning is a core part of the much bigger field of artificial intelligence. It's not a competition, it's a hierarchy.
And there you have it, a simple guide to the whole AI landscape. So the next time you hear these buzzwords thrown around, you'll know exactly how they all relate. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. Understanding the what is the first step. The much bigger question is, what's next? Out of all these layers, which one do you think is going to be the one to truly reshape our world?